Before the season started, the whole talk was City and Liverpool were going to challenge Arsenal for the title, especially when you look at a Liverpool side that have spent a huge amount of money coming from the back of winning the title, and you spend, the whole talk was, I mean, this team is guns blazing, like they are not relenting. They want to win this title back to back. City, we know what they can do 4 times in a row. Okay, this is their time to get back to the throne. But there's Chelsea in the mix now. So, 6 points below Arsenal, Chelsea, and they play next, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they play
so
next.
do you see Chelsea mounting a strong title challenge against this Arsenal side? I know your answer is going to be Arsenal will not relinquish the title. I don't know, because I don't think anybody will see us now dropping from the position they are in the table. But who are the challengers? Or do you see City and Liverpool coming back at some point in the race, maybe in the second half of the season? But who can mount a real title challenge to this Arsenal
I don't
side
think
season?
Liverpool would challenge. I think Manchester United will end up above Liverpool. Chelsea are a team to respect, even if you claim that you don't fear them. If you see me, I've never bantered Chelsea. Maybe joke, or probably when I was in Brilla when Fashola banned Okada. But in reality, I've always respected them because I know how close they were to administration under Ken Bates. I know how close they were to, if Gustavo Poyet didn't score that goal, maybe they would have gone into administration because there'll be no money to run the club. But then when Roman Abramovich came in at 19 years, this Chelsea team that's not won the Premier League in 50 years, that, only have the Cup Winners' Cup, or when the late Vialli took over from Ruud Gullit, they won the FA Cup with Ruud Gullit, the first foreign manager in England to win the English FA Cup. Something was brewing. Then Ranieri came in. He was a nearly man, the thinker man that didn't get it done. But then when Bree scored 1 goal in the Champions League and they beat Arsenal, for a team that Arsenal have been beating for 10 years, that was a turnaround. Then Jose Mourinho came, did what he did. This man who was not afraid to sign anybody, who was not afraid to give any coach the reins, in the midst of people that were winning, like Carlo Ancelotti, Philippe Scolari, Gus Indig. There was also AVB. There was also Rafa Benitez that came in and won the UEFA Cup, or is it Europa Cup, and all of that. Everybody that came in, Thomas Tuchel and the rest of them. You sit back and swear, if you're a liar, you can lie. But every one of us wanted our club to be like Chelsea. We wanted to have a chaotic player like Hazard. We wanted to have a beast, an unplayable beast who played in 10 Champions League finals and scored won 8 or 10 trophies. I don't know the numbers now, but Didier Drogba. They scored too many goals like Alan Shearer or Anne Wright or Thierry Henry in the course of the whole season. But this guy was unplayable. You wanted that kind of player. You wanted that kind of a team where the owner, especially if you're an Arsenal fan, who saw one man ran 12 years of incompetence and they paid the media to lie that he was the one that was building a stadium. You wish you want to be like Chelsea. So on the back of that, even though there's new management, new sheriff in charge, but they still have money like Roman. And wealthy people, like I always say, wealthy people don't make mistakes. Billionaires don't make mistakes. They can convert their mistake into another process. I won't write Chelsea out completely out of the competition. Next week, they beat us. I'm not hoping for it. Next week, they beat Arsenal. It's 3 points gap again. Everything has changed. Chelsea, maybe Man City wins their game. The whole story is changed again. And we'll come back again and say, the title race is on. No. But the team that I think is out of the title race is Liverpool, because they caused the problem for themselves.
And when do you pull the trigger? Looking at Liverpool now, when do you pull the trigger? 6 losses in 7 Premier League games.
The problem with pulling the trigger is that you pull the trigger, but the problem is still there because the problem is locked into the system. Can you let Mo Salah go? Can you put him on the bench? Because I think it's time to let Mo Salah go. And check history. When Sir Alex Ferguson came in 1986, he had to let certain people go. They were not happy, but he had to do it. And then he had the ability to cut you. We don't like it. We hate him for doing that because we were sentimental. But you see, in business, I was told pretty early that in business, they're not sentiment. That's why for me, I always use that as my consolation that, when they let me go at Brilla, it wasn't bad. It is what followed that was bad. I always tell people that one. I don't get angry that, I was fired. It was what followed. Taking my car that I paid for, that was bad. It was the whole gatekeeping, making sure this guy crawl on his knees, this guy beg. If not, the sacking, not a problem. Because in my world where I operate, where I come from, sacking is an everyday thing. I've seen coaches get fired. The coach that took me to Sweden was fired before we kicked the first ball of the season. The next coach that came in brought in 4 players in my position, meaning I wasn't going to play. First 5 games of the season, I didn't play. And he looked me face in training and tell me, go back to Africa and go and play football. Not a big deal. I came here to hustle. I come from poverty. So I will go back. I will sit down for bench and collect the money because it's important to my. It's not just for me. It's important to people at home. Their survival is dependent on that. But get past that. You look at all the other elements that come with it. Sir Alex Ferguson fired. What's he called? Roy Keane. A grandfather in the team. He fired him for granting an interview to Manchester United channel, not even to BBC or to Sky Sports. He was fired and cut off, told the other players not to talk to him, not to greet him, not to have a conversation with him. That's brutal. He fired Yap Star, one of the best defenders to play for Manchester United. He fired him. And then you go to Chelsea. What's the guy that sent Douglas Costa, Diego Costa, an SMS that don't come to training again? You see, football is brutal. Life in itself is brutal. So when you guys play this dilly-dally with Mo Salah, I thought that winning the league title last season would have been a place to say, leave when the ovation is loud, let him go to Saudi Arabia. You convinced him to sign such a big contract. That was one mistake, but that mistake was not dangerous. The second mistake, and I tweeted about it and people were mocking me. Again, this is why I said I'm ahead of the curve. When I say I'm better in this job than any other person, and people come out and say, oh, you're forming a demigod, like I sabi the thing personal. I too sabi am. I should be proud of what I do. If I'm a demigod, yes, I'm a demigod. Because even in the Bible says, yeah, gods. So I don't care what people think, but this is true. I remember saying that once they signed Ekitike, Isak was a good search for. And I remember telling who cares to listen, Arsenal does not need Isak. Because again, players like Isak are those kind of players that will play for a club that are not pressure cooker. Signing him at Arsenal that needs to win the title, but like it's a must. If they don't win the title this season, if Arsenal win the Carabao Cup and win the FA Cup, but lose the Champions League and the Premier League, it's a failure. We will still say that Mikel Arteta should be sacked. That kind of pressure is not something that he can handle. He's the kind of guy, from what I've seen of him, for where he's coming, the kind of guy that can hide under other people. Why I was also saying that time that Bukayo Saka is not the guy that will win you the Premier League. He not gets the nerve in him. He need people better than him. Since these other players come, have you seen Bukayo Saka being the star boy of the team?
Yeah.
He just play along, right? So once you got Ekitike and he was working hard to prove himself, he felt like this is his dream. This is what he wants to do. He was working hard. Even though Liverpool were not playing well, but you could see that him, Cody Gakpo, were trying to be the new sheriff, new kids on the block.
Had a good start as well.
The whole conversation around Isak should have ended. And then we'll say, okay, let's give these guys a chance. Let's give Mo Salah one more season and he goes. They still did everything to go get an expensive rubbish. I tweeted, I said, this guy would be like Fernando Torres going to Chelsea. People said, oh, salt. He's Premier League tested. Was Fernando Torres not Premier League tested? But it was a wrong move. They said, oh, that time Torres was already dwindling. His last season with Liverpool, the numbers are not good. That's exactly what is happening now. And then he came in, and then you utter what was working. Even though you were not playing the best of football, you utter was working, and then you break the team, and then, now you look at what Liverpool is. I don't think that if you sack Slot now, even though when he won the title last season, we know that Liverpool were running in second gear, and it's because Arsenal was suffering from injury, Man City were not in the race at all, every other person was not challenging. The one season that they went on procession, nobody was challenging them. But this season now there is competition. This is like a real competition. Arsenal are competing. Chelsea are trying to contend. If they win Arsenal next week, I don't pray it happens. But if it's a very big if, it can happen. Man City does not look consistent enough in the transition of Pep Guardiola for me to fear them. But the thing is, pray that they continue to stumble. Because if they get in their stride, that's a team that can also hunt you down and tell you, this is not your title. Hold my beer. Let's chase this thing down. And don't put Man City on your neck. Let them be that far. Put them that far. If you put them on your neck, they're on their bike, they have the capability to go 20 games unbeaten. With Haaland scoring in good weathers and in bad weathers, that's something you should worry about. They're having a terrible season. Haaland is still one of the top scorer for club and country in the whole of Europe as we speak. Yeah. So all of those things comes to play. But Arsenal, I think that Arsenal have got what has been missing for decades. And that is a robust and competitive squad. You won't believe that the team that beat Spurs did not have Gabriel Magalhaes, do not have Gabriel Jesus, do not have Martin Odegaard, do not have, what's the name of this? Kai Havertz, people who normally would be starters, Martinelli, But look at the way the team, was set up. Look at the way they play. It wasn't one of their best football. You could also argue that Spurs had a very terrible day. They didn't know what they were doing. They were all over the place in defense. But hey, it is because what you say, that pressure the bus pipe. It's because of the kind way Arsenal harassed them so much so that they sat back. They couldn't come out of the starting block. And Zubimendi dashed them one goal. Beautiful goal scored by Ricky Ladd. But at the end of the day, Arsenal that is, not firing on hustling, that's scoring 4 goals, Berichi scoring a hat-trick against the club that almost signed him last minute, a phone call, change everything. You say to yourself, Liverpool does not have that right now. And for every defeat, especially losing at home 3-0, not scoring, Nottingham Forest, who are not also in their very best, scoring 3 goals against you, your confidence will be shaken. And I dare to say in football, beyond star players, beyond skills, beyond quality signing, one of the things that keeps you going is confidence and then fear factor. If those two things are out of your team and it's been away from Manchester United for a very long time, you will stumble. Because the next game you're going to play, somebody is saying, "Is not this one that Nottingham Forest beat at home? We're going to go at them." Nobody is coming out to say, "Let's pack the bus. Let's be afraid of them." No, they're saying that defense that they used to talk about. This Virgil van Dijk that they say is the greatest defender. Let's go at him. Let's get him to dance Makosa again or to twerk again, and that's exactly what's happening. So, for me, Liverpool are out of the title race. Chelsea, even if they lose to Arsenal next week, which put 9 points. We've seen Arsenal fumbled, those kind of points before. I don't think Arsenal will fumble. I think Arsenal will win the league. It's a question of when and how many more titles they will win with the league. That's the real thing. They win only the league and lose the cup and lose. I will still feel bad. Again, if Arsenal wins the league, I make bold to tell you here that people will still yabos. Me, I will not be one of those who will be rejoicing over the top, who will be doing. No, I will just be happy we've won the league. We've broken that barrier. But Arteta should be sure to know that for him to make a legacy, win the league and try to win the Champions League, or probably win domestic treble, you have some good respect.
Yeah.
Aside that, nothing. I don't think as the only team that can lose the league title is Arsenal. Arsenal can lose it by themselves. But these people, whether it's Man U, whether it's Man City, whether leave the other clubs that are around, Bournemouth, Sunderland, when the time comes, they will fumble. They'll drop their point. Chelsea is the only one that can chase them far. But Chelsea go and lose next weekend after the Bayern game that Arsenal will play. As I'm here now, I can confidently say if Arsenal loses to Bayern, I don't worry. But I don't even see them losing. That's the funny part. Because they're in this place where they are so confident. Anybody can come in. Look at the guy. Nkapie came in wearing number 5 and playing. And you were not missing defensively. Well, they didn't have a shot at goal the whole of the first 45 minutes. But not every opposition will be like Spurs.
Yeah.
But then the taste of the pudding is the eating. As they come, the harder they come, the harder they fall. That's the way it is now. Before the international break, I was saying these 3 games would decide Arsenal season. Taking Sunderland for granted, Sunderland got a draw. Thinking that Spurs would, the spirit of the derby will come and try to want to kill the joy. They felt like a pack of cards. I don't know what's going to happen with Bayern, but I can confidently tell you that even if Arsenal lose 10-0 to Bayern, they are still going to qualify for the next round. If they don't make the top 8, they will make the second level and then they will play on. So Bayern, a defeat to Bayern is a good defeat in the season if it happens. But as I'm a bit confident that Arsenal might play Bayern. I feel very, very relaxed. The next big game that Arsenal have now is not Bayern. It's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Beating Chelsea by 1 goal, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you take 3 points from Chelsea. Arsenal's title is beginning to line up.
2 big games coming up for us now. You talk about Nkapie coming on, to replace Gabriel, who was injured for this Spurs game. So is it that Arsenal has found a way to play around whoever or whichever player is injured? Or
yes.
Is there still one particular player you feel if this player is injured, it might affect Arsenal moving forward? Or they found whatever player, they found a way around it to play without any player in this Arsenal side?
There are players in Arsenal when they get injured long term, I would worry. Zubimendi, Raya. David Raya, Martin Zubimendi, I would worry. But on the flip side, Arsenal have actually found a way. 2 seasons ago, you would bet that there's no way Julian Timbers will come and ride over Ben White. Ben White, not only is he good defensively going forward, but the synergy between him and Bukayo Saka was so good that you would thought, that's where all 80% of Arsenal goals come from the right side. So you was like, nobody can come in. But look at what Julian Timbers have come to do. He plays his role as a defender, stop the defense, the opposition very well. But not just that. He goes forward, standing next to Bukayo Saka, laying the pass to whoever is there, whether it's Merino, whether it's Martin Odegaard if he plays, when he plays, and then Bukayo Saka. Before that, that's not going to happen. He's going to give it to Bukayo Saka. Then Bukayo Saka will do all those fouls, crashes, and maybe if he perform wonders, he scores. If he doesn't, we'll say Starboy has done his thing. So all of those things, you look at the Arsenal team right now, any player can be rotated, can be removed, put on the bench, and we're not feeling unconcerned. Plus the fact that players like Calafiori, I don't even know, like, that Cancelo, is the Cancelo that we saw at Man City when they won that Champions League is still better than this Calafiori anyway. Some people will not agree, but Calafiori is beginning to look like that Cancelo plus more, plus a beast. That Cancelo was a gentleman, but that was very nimble and soft. That can evolve from a left full back into a center player, forward player. What is different with Calafiori is the fact that he can go and hit a shot, whether it's right leg or his left foot. He can head the ball. He can attack just as much as he can defend. And then you have the Luis Kelly, lacking in experience, but filled with energy and the exuberance to prove a point and show that I'm a London Colony product, I'm a Hale End product, and I want to really win this. I want to win this. All this Hale End product from Iberichese to Waneri, who frowns his face too much these days, I don't know why, and to Luis Kelly. This guy wants to win and cement their legacy. Not too many Hale End. I mean, we've not had like Ashley Cole in a very long while. We're but having those ones right now. This story is written in the stars and it's going to happen.